Let me get to Ken if I can. More January 6th committee documents are trickling out as we await that final report. Among them, what we're seeing right now, the transcript of Cassidy Hutchinson's interview. Obviously, she was that incredibly brave young woman who worked basically as Mark Meadows' right-hand woman, who witnessed so much taking place inside the White House and heard some of those anecdotes, some of the stories being recounted, had some of the exchanges that are so key here. What did she say, according to these transcripts, about the pressure campaign against her?
Yeah, Peter, we're learning really sort of two major lines of revelations from the transcript of her full testimony, which is the extent of the efforts to influence her testimony, both from a spokesman for Mark Meadows, who, according to her, called her the day before she was due to testify and essentially said, "We know you're going to do the right thing and help out the boss," and then by the lawyer that she first engaged, actually was engaged for her, a pro-Trump lawyer named Stefan Pasentino, and she says that he essentially told her that it was okay to say she didn't recall information even when she did. She painted a picture of a lawyer that was really trying to minimize and influence her testimony in a pro-Trump direction. He has now taken a leave from his law firm, although he says he did nothing wrong. And then the other major strain of revelation from this is just the extent to which she is testifying that Mark Meadows and others had conversations with Donald Trump where Trump acknowledged that he lost the election. I cannot stress how important that is for the Justice Department as they weigh a prosecution in this case, because it's one thing to have people like Bill Barr testifying that they told Trump that the allegations of fraud were bogus. Because Trump can always say, look, I disregarded that advice, and I was listening to other people like John Eastman who were telling me there was fraud. But when you have people like Mark Meadows allegedly saying that Donald Trump said, for example, on December 17th, he knows it's over, he knows he lost, but we're going to keep trying. That is powerful evidence of criminal intent to the Justice Department, who, if they're going to allege that Donald Trump knowingly tried to defraud the country, essentially, and push forward these bogus allegations of fraud. Now, again, this is Cassidy Hutchinson testifying third hand. You really need to hear this from Mark Meadows. But given all the evidence around Mark Meadows and attempts to potentially influence witnesses, there are a lot of legal analysts now speculating or wondering whether Mark Meadows is cooperating with the DOJ in this investigation. His lawyer is declining to talk about it, Peter.
Well, there's a couple things to chew on right there, right? First, Stefan Pasentino, this is the attorney that was assigned to Cassidy Hutchinson, effectively pro bono, being paid by others, reminding he was the White House ethics lawyer in the past, and he's the one who said to her, we're just going to downplay all this. You're going to claim you didn't hear anything. I don't recall. It's really remarkable if you read through this transcript. And separately, the point you make about criminal intent, that's been the real challenge for the Justice Department to this point. So there's a lot for us to keep an eye on of what just broke already, even as we await the final report. There are some other transcripts, Ken, that we got last night, including a lot of Trump world figures invoking their Fifth Amendment rights to just about every question that they were asked. Who are we talking about, and what does that tell us?
Roger Stone, for example, invoked the Fifth Amendment to questions about what's your name and what's your date of birth. What's interesting about this is that, everyone is entitled to assert their Fifth Amendment rights, but the DOJ has tools to get around that. For example, they can immunize people and then compel their testimony in front of a grand jury, because many of these people are not on the hook criminally. So the DOJ may well immunize them, drag them before the grand jury, and make them talk. So that's an example of where the Justice Department has greater tools. The January 6th committee just ran up against a wall of opposition from Trump world, people who are just going to assert the Fifth Amendment in answer to every question. And so there were a lot of questions they didn't get answered, but the Justice Department has the tools to circumvent that.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.